Coast, gangsters too, and Minnesota's past. Those stories were true, but the most important legacies we knew were the legends who played the music we grew up to. From the northern pines to city streets, the melodies made our hearts beat. In every town the tunes will rise, Minnesota's music filled the skies. Oh, the legends of our state, the songs we celebrate. In every note, in every tune, the legacy is so great. The legends of our state.
The 1960s marked a vibrant and transformative era in Minnesota's folk music scene, a time when cultural shifts and social movements found their voice in song. At the heart of this folk revival, the Twin Cities became a central hub, fostering a community of musicians who blended tradition with innovation, storytelling with activism. Coffee houses like the Padded Cell and the Scholar became crucibles of creativity, where both local and national artists honed their craft, turning Minnesota into a launching pad for some of the most influential voices in folk music. Two of them were the legendary Bob Dylan and blues legends Kerner Ray and Glover. But one of the most fascinating figures to emerge from this scene was David Soul, who started his career as the masked singer at the Scholar in Minneapolis. Long before his fame as an actor on Starsky and Hutch, Soul performed incognito, with his face covered by a mask, letting his voice, and not his identity, carry the weight of his music. His enigmatic performances captured the essence of folk's storytelling tradition, where the song, not the singer's persona, was the heart of the experience. Meanwhile, in Mankato, Minnesota, two future stars, John Denver and Michael Johnson, were cutting their teeth in the local folk scene. Denver, who would go on to international fame with hits like Take Me Home Country Roads, and Johnson, whose smooth voice made Bluer Than Blue a classic, both found their start performing in the intimate clubs and coffee houses of southern Minnesota. Their early days in Mankato shaped their musical identities, combining folk's emphasis on storytelling with a more polished pop sensibility that would carry them to national acclaim. And then there's Lonnie Knight, a beloved Minnesota folk singer whose musical journey took an unexpected path. Knight first made waves in the 1960s as part of the heavy metal band Joker's Wild, shredding on electric guitar in a scene far removed from the acoustic intimacy of folk. But by the 1970s, Knight made a profound transition, returning to his folk roots and becoming a cornerstone of the Minnesota folk community. His soulful voice and introspective songwriting resonated with audiences across the state, making him a treasured figure in Minnesota's folk legacy. Minnesota's folk scene wasn't just about the music. It was about creating a space where musicians and audiences could connect on a deeper level. Whether it was David Soul's mysterious masked performances, John Denver and Michael Johnson's early days in Mankato, or Lonnie Knight's journey from heavy metal to heartfelt folk, these artists helped define the sound and spirit of a generation.
His Minnesota roots were finally coming back.
Do you think Minnesota roots were finally coming back? Never turning back. His Minnesota roots were finally coming back.
In the winter's chill of '74, Dylan headed home to the frozen lands of Minnesota, where the heart still roams. New York left him restless, with songs half alive. He sought the sound of Sound 80, where his music could revive. In Minneapolis, the songs rang clear, with the local hearts and hometown cheer. Blood on the tracks, born anew. With each drum, a whole new story grew. His brother David called the players, From the Northwoods they came, Kevin, Chris, and Billy brought fire to the flame. Greg on the keys, Bill on the beat, Peter's mandolin played, and the sound was complete. In Minneapolis, the echoes rang clear, with local hearts and hometown cheer. Blood on the tracks, born anew. With each drum a whole new story grew. Tangled up in blue, from the strings it soared. 88 wind, with the truth restored. The magic in the room, the nights whispered vows. In the city of lakes, they made their mark somehow. Through the cold December, with a fervor bright, it played through the darkness into the light. Each note a confession, each lyric a plea. Sound 80s echo till it found his key. In Minneapolis, the echoes rang clear, with the local hearts and hometown cheer. Blood on the tracks, born anew. With each drum, a whole new story grew. The label kept it quiet, the names never shared. For 40 long years, no recognition spared. But the blood on the tracks band finally got their due, when the box set revealed the New York tapes too. Now the story's legend in the winter song, Minnesota's spirit, where Dylan belonged. Blood on the tracks, a timeless muse, in those echoes of Minneapolis blues. True blood on the tracks, Minnesota roots were finally coming back. True blood, blood on the tracks, a northern heart's redemption on those timeless tracks. True blood, blood on the tracks, Bob's Minnesota roots were finally coming back. True blood, blood on the tracks, the heart of a troubadour, never turning back. His Minnesota roots were finally coming back.
In the mid-1960s, a young John Denver landed in St. Peter, Minnesota, after joining the Mitchell Trio, replacing Chad Mitchell. During this time, he made key connections that would shape his life and career. According to Carl Franzine's book Far Out, it was photographer Mark Ahlstrom who introduced Denver to Annie Martell, the woman who would later inspire the classic hit Annie's Song. But it wasn't just love that blossomed in Minnesota. Denver's first recordings were born here too. With Mankato native Bobby Drengler, Denver laid down tracks on a small 4-track recorder, marking the beginning of his journey as a solo artist. Also involved in this historic musical moment was Michael Johnson, the future Bluer Than Blue hitmaker. Franzine himself was the linchpin in bringing these talented musicians together, creating a perfect blend of creative forces. In 1968, Denver gave his first solo concert at Mankato State College, a modest yet pivotal performance that foreshadowed his rise to fame. He soon graced the stage of Minneapolis's Guthrie Theater, showcasing his heartfelt folk sound to a growing audience. These early Minnesota connections and concerts played a crucial role in shaping the legendary career of John Denver.
They are all part of a legacy of international talent that came out of Minnesota's tiny Blue Earth County in the 1960s. What a time it was!
In southern Minnesota back in '69, Here's a tale of music, so pure and so fine. There was Bobby Drangler with his 4-track machine. It was there 3 legends started to fulfill their dreams. Denver Johnson and Carl Franzine, in the heart of southern Minnesota, wild and free. On Bobby's little recorder, they painted their songs in Music City, Minnesota, where their dreams still belong. He brought to life in the heart of southern Minnesota, amidst all the strife. Denver Johnson and Franzine's melodies are forever etched in Mankato history. Denver Johnson and Carl Franzine, in the heart of southern Minnesota, wild and free. On Bobby's little recorder, they painted their songs in Music City, Minnesota, where their dreams still belong. Those days may be gone, but the music remains. In every note, his spirit sustains Bobby Drangler's name in the halls of time, a recording engineer in his prime. Wild and free. On Bobby's little recorder, they painted their songs in Music City, Minnesota, where their dreams still belong. Denver Johnson and Carl Franzine, in the heart of southern Minnesota, wild and free. On Bobby's little recorder, they painted their songs in Music City, Minnesota, where their dreams still belong. Denver Johnson and Carl Franzine, Denver Johnson and Carl Franzine. On Bobby Drangler's recorder, they painted their songs. They're Minnesota legends, and southern Minnesota's where their legacy belongs.
Lonnie Knight is a beloved Minnesota musician whose career spans several decades, marked by his versatility and deep connection to folk music. Starting out in the 1960s as a member of the heavy metal band Joker's Wild, Knight later transitioned to folk, where he found his true voice. His rich, soulful songwriting and expressive guitar work earned him a loyal following in Minnesota's folk scene. Knight was celebrated for his ability to blend genres, drawing from rock, blues, and folk traditions. He became a prominent figure in local venues and festivals, known for his emotionally resonant performances and thoughtful lyrics. Over his career, he released several albums and shared the stage with notable artists, gaining a reputation as a mentor to younger musicians in the Minnesota music community. Even as he battled health challenges later in life, Knight continued to perform, leaving behind a legacy of heartfelt music and unwavering dedication to his craft. His contributions to the Twin Cities music scene, particularly in folk, have made him a cherished figure in Minnesota's musical history. One of his bands was called Flash Tuesday, and here is a salute to one of the greatest guitar players who ever lived. May he be forever known to his fans as the Minnesota Flash.
Wild, wild west of Minnesota, there was a man they called the Flash. He's had that electric persona. He had the blues running through his veins like a river with a guitar in his hand. He was a real crowd fiddler. He'd strum those strings like he's got fire in his fingertips. His voice echoes through the night, it's like honey on your lips. The way he moved and grooves, it was pure soul motion. When the Flash took the stage, it created a commotion. Lonnie Knight, Minnesota, there was a man they called the Flash. He's had that electric persona. He had the blues running through his veins like a river, with a guitar in his hand. He was a real crowd thriller. Strum those strings like he's got fire in his fingertips. His voice echoes through the night. It's like honey on your lips. The way he moved and grooves, it was pure soul motion. When the Flash took the stage, it created a commotion. Lonnie Knight, the late great Minnesota Flash. He's the king of the scene with his bluesy gold machine. He light up the night with a soulful sound. Lonnie Knight, the Minnesota sound. Lonnie Knight, out in the wild, wild west of Minnesota, there was a man they called the Flash. He's had that electric persona. He had the blues running through his veins like a river, with a guitar in his hand. He was a real crowd thriller. Lonnie Knight, the late great Minnesota Flash. He's the king of the scene with his bluesy gold machine. He light up the night with a soulful sound. Lonnie Knight, the Minnesota sound. Lonnie Knight, the Minnesota Flash.
Bars of West Bank, Minneapolis nights. A mystery man stepped up, a voice that ignites. Masked in shadows, guitar slung low. They call him the covered one, his identity don't know. David Soul, the masked singer in the West Bay scene. Strumming secrets, living in between. From coffee house to stardom, he played it all. But starting master Minneapolis, y'all. 67, the summer burned hot, revolution in the air. So buried his soul, but his faith he wouldn't share. Folk tunes and protest songs, he belt them out raw. A rebel with a cause behind the mask he wore. David Soul, the masked singer of the West Bank scene. Strumming secrets, living in between. From coffee house to stardom, he played it all. The starting master Minneapolis, y'all. And Hollywood called, the mask came off. From Starsky and Hutch to Silver Screen, he took off. But we never win, he was just a voice in a Twin Cities night, making noise. Years rolled on, his roles changed and grew. But in Minneapolis, a legend they knew. From a hidden troubadour to a household name, David Soul's journey, a rock and roll flame. David Soul, from the masked singer to the TV star.
song. Now the curtain's down, but the music plays on. In the clubs of West Bank, the spirit's not gone. David Soul, your legacy's still in the groove. From master famous, he has something to prove. Heroes, ghosts, gangsters too, and Minnesota's past, those stories were true. But the most important legacies we knew were the legends who played the music we grew up to. From the northern pines to city streets, the melodies made our hearts beat. In every town the tunes will rise, Minnesota's music filled the skies. Oh, the legends of our state, the songs we celebrate. In every note